Hello, everybody. Karen Stanley here from Mabel and Stanley Publishing, and I'm joined by the lovely Helen Simmons today, and she's going to talk about her part in my collaborative book project. One of our many authors with massively inspiring stories. I can't even speak today. Massively inspiring stories to share. So, Helen, introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do.
Hi everyone, so thank you for introducing me and for the opportunity. I'm Helen Simmons, the franchisor, former franchisee of Caterpillar Music, which is a baby and toddler preschool introduction to the world of music, basically music, movement and sensory sessions from 0 to 4 years old.
Oh, and babies respond so well to music, don't they?
Oh, it's incredible. There's just so many benefits. I mean, even from the womb, they're hearing music that we play. And we just see so many benefits, from a social aspect to bonding with mum initially, and then their main caregiver, and then with us actually as class leaders. It is amazing. It prepares them for school as well, in that they're not so frightened of those grown-ups anymore. We become magnets in the class.
Yeah, lovely. And tell us a little bit about, how did you get started with Caterpillar Music then?
Well, I'd always wanted to run my own business, and I actually came on board as a franchisee. So I was a new mum. I had a 7-month-old, and I was looking to leave the world that the world that I was in, and sounds a bit odd. But I'd always wanted to run my own business. Didn't actually know what it was, and it was going to classes like mine that really inspired me. And I just saw the benefits with my own child at the time, and I became a Caterpillar Music franchisee, and I ran sessions in Southwest London for 12 years before I became the franchisor, which is now another 5 years on. But I just absolutely loved watching the responses of not only the babies and toddlers in my sessions, but the new mums. It just gave them confidence as well. And so I entered it as a franchisee and a class leader. And 5 years ago, got the opportunity to become the franchisor, so helping other people to run their own businesses as well.
Wow, that must have been a scary step, was it?
It was very different being the franchisor, but actually, let you in on a little secret. So for the last few years, I haven't run classes myself because I wanted to perfect a few things about the business, and I wanted to help my franchisees as much as possible, but I'm missing those little bodies and that context. So I'm actually going to start to run my own classes again this term. So
because really that's what we do. I mean, I was a teacher for 20 years, and when you strip away all of in teaching, especially all of the stuff that you have to do that you hate, but the actual reactions and the interaction with I mean, that's why you do it, isn't it?
It's amazing. I love those relationships, and not just with me, but also watching them, the development of relationships within the class, the friendships. It's just incredible, and it's just so beneficial on so many levels.
I mean, I have to be careful not to rant about the rigidity of the education system at the moment, because I think there's so many different little personalities and different little kind of character traits that sometimes don't always come out. And they do.
Especially with arts declining in the school curriculum, and it's so good in terms of self-expression, and it helps cross-curricular music, particularly with the very little ones. Obviously it's great for things like holding a pen, because they're fine motor skills, gross motor skills, but also just the wide variety of language that they learn in our sessions, from the different weekly themes that we have, all the different topics, and it helps them to kind of find their place in the world and how to respond to it. So when they do go out into the bigger world, they're used to seeing grown-ups, they're used to singing about the jungle or talking
about singing is amazing for language development. I worked in a school one year, and we had a really high influx of children from different cultures, and I think at one point I had like 6 different languages in my classroom, and we're not talking like these children literally couldn't speak any English. So, and I obviously my Latvian and my my Filipino. I mean, there was such a diverse range of languages. No way I could really do that. So we used to sing a lot, and
Yeah,
music transcends all of those language barriers, doesn't it?
absolutely. I mean, even sometimes I used to sing my instructions because it just goes in, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Even
lovely.
like there's a lot of repetition, and even things like we always start the sessions with some traditional nursery rhymes because they're repetitive,
Mm,
and it's the rhythm of language, and they get used to that repetition, and they find themselves, you know, filling in the gaps and then
yeah,
joining in and,
yeah,
finally ending in singing those tunes when they get home by
yeah,
themselves. And
amazing.
that rhythm, you know, sometimes we might tap it out with an instrument, you know, a clave, a set of claves, or some shaky eggs, or and that rhythm and tapping out those syllables helps with future reading. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
amazing for
it's
literature.
incredible. How
Yeah.
lovely. So how did you find out about the collaborative book project?
Well, I thought about this the other day, and I think being now the franchisor, I involve myself not only in the children's industry, but also in the franchise industry. And I think it was through all the various connections that I've made that I think I attended a children's event. I'm pretty
Mm,
certain it was Club Hub where I
mm,
met you.
mm.
And one of my connections, Action Amanda,
Yeah.
mentioned what you were doing, and I thought that is so exciting.
Mm,
And I really wanted, I wholeheartedly agree with the concept that extracurricular activities such as this are so beneficial. And I'd recently overhauled all of our lesson plans, and that really, you know, I had it all in front of me in terms of all the different benefits and why we sing a certain song, why we perform a different activity. There's so many reasons in the background,
yeah.
in terms of their cognitive development, as to why we do those things. So it was all fresh in my mind, and I thought that's the perfect opportunity to tell the world
Yeah,
about
I see.
music and why it's so important,
Yeah,
and be
yeah.
part of that collaboration is just,
Yeah,
yeah.
and collaboration. I mean, Amanda is the chief collaborator. Yeah, it's
She knows
amazing how many
everybody.
people on this project say, "Oh, I think it might have been Amanda."
Yeah.
So, if you're out in the wide world and you haven't met Amanda, you're probably the only person who hasn't. So, yeah, she is. And I think collaboration, in life, in business, in general, it's, if children who are good collaborators, they do so much better, don't they? Because we sort of bounce off each other, and we create ideas, and we can achieve wonderful things when we collaborate with others, can't we?
100%. And particularly so for me, collaboration was key during the pandemic.
Yeah,
So when we missed out on all those kind of physical meetup times, meeting people via Zoom like this
yeah,
was incredible. And every single meeting, every connection I had, there was always a snippet, kind of a pearl of wisdom that I
yeah.
gained from it. And when we were back together in these physical meetings, it was like our best friends were in the room. It was
It's nice.
incredible. And
The
the
lifeline.
children's industry is, oh, I just absolutely love it. It's
Yeah,
the buzz and the positivity in
nice.
every meetup like that is incredible.
Yeah,
And yeah, and hopefully we can pass that on to our little ones and encourage
yeah,
them to turn, take, and share
yeah.
instruments, and develop patience and resilience when they have to wait their turn. It's such important life skills,
Yeah, we
certainly.
can't underestimate how much they take subliminally, can we? They watch your every move.
Yeah.
Anyone
Sometimes
who's been a mum trying to go to the loo piece will know that. Yeah. So had you written anything before?
It's funny. The overhaul of the lesson plans was one thing, and kind of writing it for the franchisees so they could see why we do what we do, and how to kind of connect with nursery schools and help them. So kind of putting that all down on paper. But in terms of books, no, I've written blogs. I did a free writing course, which was really helpful, because free writing, you just literally write everything that comes into your mind, get it all down on paper, don't edit it until
Yeah,
much later, And that really helps me. And that's often how I write my blog posts and anything else, any other social media. I just write and write and write and don't stop, and I edit it afterwards. So things like that. What else have I done? My ops manual, operations manual, of course, and all the boring stuff. Award entries, because we've won a number of awards. But nothing really like this.
Yeah. I mean, we write a lot more than we give ourselves credit for, really, don't we? So, and I know that one of my kind of thoughts behind this was that writing a book is really great for your business credibility, but to write a whole book can be quite daunting. So I thought, well, if everybody wrote a chapter, then it's kind of like, well, that suddenly it's not quite so overwhelming. So did you find the process easy, challenging, or, you know, how did you find it?
The ideas were just flowing, and everything was, I had so much content, and I think that was the challenge, was narrowing it down to the number of words that we were given. That was the challenge for me, because there are just so many benefits, and one of the sections is about success stories, and I put it out there and asked my franchisees and I asked our customers, can you tell me kind of the benefits? And I just had so many success stories that it was difficult then to narrow it down and just select a few.
Nice problem to have, though.
It was a lovely position to be in. So that was it. And I've probably shown that I do waffle a little bit. So actually trying to be succinct. But it was a great exercise. It did take me back to my university years writing essays, but it was I'm a list maker, so I love kind of a checklist and ticking things off, and
oh, that's good. So the book is called Learning for Life, the long-term benefits of cross-curricular learning on children's cognitive development. And we've sort of touched on this a little bit, but why do you think primarily what you provide is important?
I think we touched on a few things in terms of preparation for school, with not only the kind of the wide variety of language that we expose them to, but also some social skills and getting used to each other. The structure, because our sessions are structured but varied, so it keeps it kind of fresh for the grown-ups, but they're structured so they get to know what's coming next, so they get to kind of learn that perseverance. So if they and that kind of resilience, so almost if you're taking the puppets, because we have lots of puppets and instruments, they have to hand the puppets back at a certain time, but they get to learn that it's okay because the instruments are coming next. So that kind of prepares them for the structure of school in a way. We've mentioned reading and literacy. It really does benefit those, as well as kind of gross motor skills. We have little ones taking their first steps in class, clapping for the first time, waving. It's so lovely. But as well as that, we hope to inspire a love of music to last a lifetime. And you can see that in one particular success story that I mentioned in the book. Just also with that, just the whole confidence thing, and sat in front of a group, not necessarily performing, but just being able to speak up and, you know, answer questions. You know, it's very interactive. Our sessions are very interactive, and I think that can probably be said for a lot of the children's activities.
There's so many inspiring stories in the book. I mean, I did get chills reading the chapters as they came in. I thought it's just lovely. What a great thing to do. So who sticks it now? You've got to be careful here, Helen. One child, which is not an impossible feat. One child that makes you go, yeah, that's why I do that.
Do you know what? For me, so when I put it out there, I got so many success stories back, and for each of the things I've mentioned, I can give you a different success story, I think from either my sessions or one of my franchisees. But for me, I saw something from one of my customers on Facebook, and that little baby that was in my class 15 years ago is now touring with his orchestra, playing the French horn, loving life. He dances, he sings, you know, at home and things like that, but to see it giving him this opportunity, just, and talking to his mum, she said it is I think it is that, you know, that
it's just the beginning of his journey.
Yeah, I remember him before he could walk, just crawling around, happiest of children.
Yeah.
Absolutely immersed in the whole experience, and now he's loving touring, playing his instrument, and he's a huge teenager. I think he's 15. So, and I know his, you know, his name and everything's mentioned in the book, and just seeing that is just amazing.
Don't get better than that, does it?
I can't say I didn't teach him to play the French horn.
But you know what, even like as teachers, you know, even if you know that you've been a tiny part of that journey, because like we say with life, it's all about collaboration. Not one person isn't responsible for everything that you do, but to know that you've even been a tiny piece of the puzzle is just wonderful, I think.
And it really kind of took me back, because at the age of, I can't believe it now, but at the age of 12 I went to Norway playing the violin with my orchestra, my kind of local orchestra, and we did a home share, like a host family share, for 5 days on my own with a host family, and that experience has really stuck with me. So I think
shapes you, doesn't it? It shapes you
unbelievably. And I did go to travel years later.
For
the story.
You've got so many. We could be here all day. So has this project inspired you to write more at some point, do you think?
Yeah, I loved it. You've just inspired me then. I think, book about travels. Or,
I know.
Or business mum journey, or there's so many other topics. A whole book, I don't know. I'd be up for some collaboration, but I do love writing.
We'll have to do book 2.
Yeah. I always kept a diary as a child, and just journaling what you do, I think, is really important, and reflecting back. So whether it'd be interesting for anyone else to read, I don't know, but I'd
quite a cathartic process, isn't it?
100%.
And so finally, Helen, what would you like to see the book achieve?
Obviously a bestseller.
That would be nice.
I'd love to just spread the word to not only parents, obviously really important, but nurseries, practice managers, as well as staff. I think would benefit from how they can help children within their settings, early years, but also not only that, because we've got so much. We just focus on early years, but I know a lot of the other collaborators go right the way up to 18. So it could kind of go right up through the education system. So just hopefully spread the word and tell the government that you need to keep these things in school, in the curriculum. Help every child should have access to learn an instrument and to just get that whole creative side experience, and it just benefits so many different things, not only personally but also cross-curricular.
These are transferable skills. I just had a similar conversation. These are transferable skills. How you behave with your gross motor skills comes down into your fine motor skills. How you are able to sing will affect your oral literacy. How, this is not just, we're doing music. It reaches way beyond that, doesn't it?
That's right. Yes.
And for those children who maybe don't always quite fit the mold educationally, whatever that might be, allowing them the scope and the freedom to explore and develop their own passions. I mean, life isn't supposed to be a chore, is it? It's supposed to be fun.
And the way the education system's gone with its test taking, I remember in the year 6 of juniors just thinking, what is that whole year about? What if they actually learn apart from how to take tests? What about education? Surely that's more important than
that's a whole nother. I get very soapboxy about that. But no, really inspiring, Helen. Thank you so much for talking.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I have really loved the process. It just cements to me why we do what we do, and just
and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. It's been lovely, and I've really felt inspired by all of your stories and how different everybody's story is. I love that. I love the diversity. So it's been a real pleasure. So the book is out on the 27th of October, Learning for Life. Don't miss out. It's a wonderful, if nothing else, it's an inspiring, uplifting read with everybody's story. So we look forward to you reaching onto those Amazon bookshelves and purchasing your copy. And we'll see you all again soon. Thank you, Helen.
Great. Thank you so much.